What's going on, fan? This Barbacondo come back at you with another video. So today, the Atlanta Falcons have made some moves finally during this negotiation period. We all know the new league year comes tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So all these deals that these teams been making around the league will be official at that time. The Atlanta Falcons finally got off the snide, kind of got off the sidelines and started to make some moves to try to get this fan base calmed down because we know a lot of guys was really panicking about some of the things that Atlanta Falcons moved. Atlanta Falcons didn't go out and make any splash moves, but they did make moves that, in my opinion, really did help this defense out. Still not done, still got a lot of things they need to do, but I feel that this is a good start, and we'll definitely get into it today. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys are here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. What's going on, Jay Black? Yes, the Atlanta Falcons make some moves. So, guys, we're going to get right into it. The first move today, they signed a guy that actually a lot of people wasn't quite sure who he was. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And that's the Divine Diablo, guy who's been in the league 4 years. He was drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders. He was actually a safety at Virginia Tech. I think this is a underappreciated signing by the Atlanta Falcons. We all know that does have a really good eye for his pros talent. That's what he did when he was with New Orleans Saints, and he had brought that kind of that acumen. You can say what you want to say about him, but being able to identify pros and bring guys in to be contributors to NFL teams, especially to Atlanta Falcons, has really been a success of him since he's been with the organization. So this is a good signing. I think, be honest with you, it's a perfect fit for our defensive coordinator and our head coach, Jeff Albrecht and Raheem Morris. He signs a 2-year deal, $14 million, $7.76 million guaranteed. Only $1.66 million going towards his base salary for 2025. So it's not going to be a big cap number. He got $66 million of a signing bonus. So this is a good thing for the Atlanta Falcons. And what I like about bringing in Divine Diablo is the fact that he's speed, right? Being able to go sideline to sideline. Does that sound familiar? You go back to when Jeff Albrecht and Raheem Morris was here. First time they had another linebacker who was really speedy, and Deion Jones, and where he was able to, the things he was able to do, things he was able to contribute to the Atlanta Falcons was really, really good, right? You're going to bring a guy that played safety in college, and he can, convert it to a linebacker. So he has the speed, he has the coverage ability. I know that's one of the knocks out there, saying his ability not to be able to run in coverage. But when you run a 4-4, guys, at the linebacker position, and he ran a 4-4-5, so he's fast, he can move sideline to sideline. I think this is a good deal. I think if he get coached up the right way, put him in the right scheme. Sometimes guys just don't fit in the right scheme. So a lot of people saying that the coverage skill is not there. But when you be able to move that fast, you played secondary, your tenure in college. So he has the ability to play in coverage. So I just think putting him in the right system, which I think this is a perfect fit for him. This is something that Raheem Morris wanted to do, get somebody in coverage skills to go alongside with the other ball hawk that we have in the back in that secondary, and Jesse Bates. I think this is going to be really good for us. I mean, what he reminds me of when they brought Caden Ellis here. Caden Ellis was our underrated signing as well. Nobody knew a lot about Caden Ellis. We know he flashed, his last season with the New Orleans Saints, but coming over here last 2 seasons, he's been a revelation for the Atlanta Falcons. Probably one of the best pass rushers that we got on the team, but his ability to play, multiple positions is what we liked about Caden Ellis. And I think bringing in a guy like Divine Diablo could do the same thing, right? He's really, really good in the run, right? So that's something you do see, being able to read and react, come downhill, make plays. He's able to rush the passer as well. utilizing that speed and ability that he has. So he can be multiple for the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is going to really be good for us. Um, you know, wasn't a name that everybody had on their radar and things like that. So I know when people first saw it, like, who is that? But I think that bringing in Diablo is going to be really good. First of all, you like the name; it's kind of cool, right? Diablo, Divine Diablo. Um, shout out to his parents for naming him that. But I just think it's going to be a really good signing for us. Like I said, pairing him with Caden Ellis. Now the question is, he's going to start. I think he is. I think this right here makes Troy Anderson be, a rotation player for us. Just couldn't stay healthy. That's one of the things about Troy Anderson. But have some of the same traits as the Divine. So this is going to be bolster up the linebacker room. It's not one of the signings that a lot of people have on their radar for the linebacker, but it's one of the needs that I felt like the Atlanta Falcons need to prove in and going out and get a linebacker. Now, the question is, are they done at this position? I'm not 100% sure, but, they bring out J.D. Bertrand there. They got Caden Ellis. They got Troy Anderson. This probably alleviates Nate Landman for coming back to the Atlanta Falcons because of the signing of Diablo. But they put more speed on there. Now the Atlanta Falcons got more speed in that secondary, be able to match up against, faster running backs. I think he's able to play tight ends as well. So we're going to see what Divine brings to the table. But I like this signing for the Atlanta Falcons. And honestly, guys, I think once again another underrated signing by Terry Fontenot, going out and getting a pro that a lot of people probably wasn't even thinking about that was on the radar. Shabbat said, "What do you do? Become the Falcon family, new era. Let's go." Yes, guys. I'll be honest with you. I looked at the Grady Jarrett tribute last night, and I got kind of sad all over again. End of an era. Grady is gone. That guy. He really embodied what it meant to be Atlanta Falcons. Ups and down, fifth round pick, homegrown talent, just wanted to come in and he wanted to bring the Super Bowl to this city. So he's definitely gonna be missed. But you can't blame him for going out and getting his last, probably maybe his last big payday with Chicago Bears. So we wish Grady all the luck, but end of an era. But this is the new way, new era. Just like Jake Box said, it's time to get it in. And welcome to Atlanta, Divine Diablo. Guys, I really want to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think adding more speed, adding what Raheem and Jeff want to do with this team, does you think Diablo fits what they're trying to do? All right. The next guy that's on the table for our Atlanta Falcons will be Mike Hughes. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons. This is not a new signing. This is the Atlanta Falcons actually bringing back a guy that, if you go back to one of the things I thought the Atlanta Falcons should really do this offseason, is bring back Mike Hughes. I thought he'll be actually a cheap guy to bring back. He's familiar with the defense already. And he actually played pretty good for the Atlanta Falcons last season. He played 15 games. And he's the perfect cornerback too. A guy that's not going to get too overwhelmed about getting most of the targets, because your cornerback too, they're going to target you. But I thought he played his role really well last year. AJ had one of the better seasons, but Mike Hughes did not get picked on and was not a liability for this team at all. One thing I like about Mike Hughes is his physicality, his ability to come down and make tackles. He had 66 tackles last year, 4 tackles for a loss, and he put some hits on people. There's some highlight hits that he had out there last season. If you guys remember, Mike Hughes played really well last season, and bringing him back in, now they signed him to a 3-year deal, $9.6 million guaranteed, 3-year, $18 million. With just a $9 million guaranteed, how long is this contract really? But they got him for 3 years. Is he the cornerback too? Finally, that AJ Terrell can actually have a running mate with him. So we'll definitely get to see that. So he's back for us, this is his third season with the Atlanta Falcons, so that is good. I think that finally they may be able to find their second corner. Now, this does not alleviate the Atlanta Falcons going out and still making moves at cornerback position. They did not bring the Alfred back, so they still need a nickel corner. So, cornerback at number 15 is still on the table if the Atlanta Falcons decide to do that. But bringing back the number 2 corner kind of solidifies some of the secondary. So you're starting to fill up some of the holes that we had talked about the Atlanta Falcons had to have. One of the needs was cornerback. One of the needs was linebacker. You start to see that, right? It's not complete. We definitely know it's not complete, but it's a good start. So we want to welcome back Mike Hughes to the squad. Like we always said, some people say re-signing your own guys is not important, but it's definitely important because you want to keep that continuity, and then you want to reward guys for playing well in your system that you help develop. So that's good bringing Mike Hughes back. I like bringing him back. I thought this was something they should have did, right up the bat. Now going out and get a nickel, I still think they need to do that, and we'll see if they decide to do that in free agency as well, or do they decide to do that in the in the draft. So we'll just have to see, right? But I like this signing really a lot. I really do. I like this signing a lot. So shout out to Mike Hughes being back with the Atlanta Falcons. Um, the box says that was a great deal for Hughes. Yes, it was. I mean, in 6 years, $6 million a year average. And you gotta like the way Atlanta Falcons are doing their due diligence, is are structuring these contracts like they with Diablo. Give him the $6 million sign bonus. Looking at the cap number for 2025 is only 1.6 million. So they're trying to work this thing out. One thing I do want to know, somebody need to do an investigation, because I don't know how in the hell the Aints get to sign all these players when they every year they say they're in cap hell or whatever, but somehow um we they keep signing good. They just signed the safety out of Kansas City. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. So I don't want to hear anybody say anything about the cap and not being able to run the cap, because somehow each year the New Orleans Aints are able to bring in guys and get it done somehow with the so-called cap hell that they supposed to be in. So that's something that's really that irks me a lot. So, but Atlanta Falcons, maneuvering their cap the best way they can. They know they got to pay some guys here coming up next year. So, um, you got to think about now. You got to think about the future. So they're better the roster this year, and still thinking about roster building for future years as well. So, and at the end of the day, that's why Grady probably no longer here. That's probably why Drew Dahlman was not signed. So that's where we are, guys. That's where we are. So welcome back, Mike Hughes. Good pickup. Great. Number 2, saw AJ Terrell. Secondary starting to get back in. We still need a safety to go alongside Jesse Bates. We still need a nickel corner. So we still are not where we want to be, but it's okay. All right, let's go to the last big sign of the day, which is kind of a homecoming as well for our Atlanta Falcons. And that's Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd, guys, welcome back to Georgia. Finally, he's a guy that the Atlanta Falcons probably been talking about a couple of years, trying to get him back home. Guy coming in, up in his years now. He's actually at 32 years old. He signed a contract with the San Francisco 49ers last year, 2-year, $20 million contract, but they released him today, and right away he was able to get a contract done with the Atlanta Falcons. 1-year, $10 million contract. So guy that Georgia native, coming back home, played with the University of Georgia. Atlanta Falcons bring another guy from the University of Georgia back to Atlanta Falcons. We had Lorenzo Carter here a couple of years, but Leonard Floyd coming back, had 8.5 sacks last year alone, which at this point is the leading sack go getter for the Atlanta Falcons for next season, for 2025 season. So yes, that eight and a half sacks that he had, um, definitely is the most by all the guys on our right behind him would be Armor Ebiketie. So this is a good signing for the Atlanta Falcons. Does it alleviate the pass rush woes that Atlanta Falcons have had? No, it does not. But this is a start. This is something that we like um, to see. The Atlanta Falcons are understanding the issues they had going out. Got to be able to get after the passer. Leonard Floyd has been a really good pass rush for a long time. One thing about Leonard Floyd, we got to remember, he was actually drafted by the Chicago Bears, so Ryan Pace has a lot of familiarity with him, and he actually was coached by Raheem Morris with the Los Angeles Rams. So the familiarity with the coaching staff will really help get him right in the mix right away. Be able to do some of the things he do well, and that's to get after the quarterback. This is just a start, though. We got to be able to do more than just bring in a guy like Leonard Floyd. We want the Atlanta Falcons to actually be better at this. So moving forward, this is a start at the pass rush. You mix this guy in the mix with Braylon Trice, Armor Ebiketie, Zach Harrison, Rook Roro, Brandon Dorless, right? All those guys, those young guys that we got at this point in time. Leonard Floyd probably be the elder statesman on the team. Even older than David Amayata. So this guy here come in. He's the senior right now, right? Um, and you like a guy with experience, guy who has Super Bowl experience, and bring in a guy like Leonard Floyd. So you like, you know, pairing him with a guy like Armor Ebiketie, a guy like Braylon Trice, teaching those guys to rope. So this is a good signing, but it's not should not be the Atlanta Falcons. We have done our what we need to do in the pass rush, right? I still think they might need to make another move in free agency and also another move in the draft, right? You want to be able to do as much as you can to build up this pass rush. Um, because it's not just getting after the passer; it's also about creating the depth as well. If you're able to create depth across the line, um, from your front seven to your back end, then you can build this defense, right? We kind of like where we're at from an offensive standpoint, even though we still got to fix that center position. Right now, we're not sure who's our center going to be because the Atlanta Falcons still have not re-signed Ryan Newsel yet. So at this point in time, that is the gap, and at the center position. But we kind of like where we're at. Right, we think we got our quarterback. We got a three-headed monster with Bijan and Drake as well. You like what Darnell Mooney was able to bring to the table. Ray McCloud had a career year. Um, so you like some of the pieces that we already have from offense standpoint. The key was to get the defense fixed. This is a start, right? You bring in Diablo, guy who's a speedster, right? Fit what I think Jeff Ulbrich and um, Raheem Morris is trying to do from a defensive standpoint, right? You bring back Mike Hughes, somebody who's familiar with the scheme already, um, has track record being really solid, number two cornerback, and then bringing in Leonard Floyd here, a guy that's now is our the elder statesman of the defense, coming in at 32 years old. Yes, he's the oldest guy on the defense right now, so um, that's interesting. And he's only 32, so the Atlanta Falcons have a young defense, but Leonard Floyd brings experience. He brings playoff experience, Super Bowl experience. This is a good signing for Atlanta Falcons, but it should just be a start. So um, hopefully they're not sitting here resting on their laurels and thinking that they have did something that's good and that should be enough, right? We want to be able to get out of the gutter. We want people to stop talking about the Atlanta Falcon pass rush. For one reason, he only signed a 1-year deal. So this is not the future. This is just for 2025 to help get us where we need to be. So this is telling me this is just a start of what they're trying to do. Like I said, you anticipate them making moves in the draft. You anticipate them making moves, hopefully more moves in free agency as well. So that's where we're at. We got Trey saying Building the defense depth, I'm cool with the signings today. That's 100% correct. That's what today was all about. It's about the depth, right? You have to start somewhere. Um, I said personally, the Atlanta Falcons probably is going to have about 20 to 35% of changeover in the defense. And right now, we got two new guys that's part of this defense, and that's Leonard Floyd and Divine Diablo. Remember, we had a lot of guys that was free agents. I think it was like 15 guys from that list of 23 guys that was on free agents that was on defense, right? Richie Grant signed with the San Francisco 49ers, so San Francisco lose um, a guy to the Falcons, but they gained another guy from the Falcons. So congratulations, Richard Grant. He signed a contract with the San Francisco 49ers. We take Leonard Floyd after he was released from the San Francisco 49ers, and we sign him to the Atlanta Falcons. So no more Richard Grant's going to be back. No more Grady's going to be back. So we already can see how different that this defense is going to look from 2024 to 2025. It's not anywhere complete. Still got holes to fill. Still need safety. They still need some more defense alignment. They need another pass rusher, and they still need a slot corner. That's where we need to look at it, guys, when we start thinking about these Atlanta Falcons moving forward. But good day, good day. Hopefully, this ease a lot of you guys' angst because I know a lot of people was upset yesterday that Atlanta Falcons decided not to make any moves. But they actually lost yesterday. A lot of people feel like we lost today more than gaining anything because we lost Drew Dalman, we lost Grady Jarrett. Yeah, we signed our left tackle to 2 more years, but other than that, the Atlanta Falcons didn't really make any moves yesterday. But today was a day. It's not a day to be like we made it and we won free agency. No, we still got a lot of things to work on. Right, so that's one of the things that we need to understand. Another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the draft, right? So I know a lot of people been looking at trade, maybe a potential trade for Trey Henderson, and we know that the Cincinnati Bengals, want at least like a second round pick for them. Well, this is where it gets really dicey for the Atlanta Falcons because the Atlanta Falcons only have, um, you know, set 5 picks in this draft. 2 of those picks are 7 round picks. So when you're looking at the 2 7 round picks, you don't really know how much weight you're going to put in those 2 picks. So the Atlanta Falcons have 3 picks in reality. They got number 15, they got number 46, and they got number 118, which is in the 4th round. So they don't have a 3rd round pick. They don't have a 5th round pick, right? We know we lost the 5th round pick because Kirk Cousins ran his mouth. Um, so they got us for tampering last year. And then we gave it a 3rd round pick for Matthew Judon. So that's why we only have these 5 picks. So giving up our 2nd round pick this year for Trey Henderson was only put us at 4. Now bringing in a guy like Trey Henderson, in my opinion, because you have to give him a long-term deal, maybe fix the pass rush for us. So that would be something that the Atlanta Falcons probably can say they're good with it. Not 100%, but getting a guy like that, a guy who's had 17 and a half sacks back-to-back seasons, have really one of the best pass rushers in the league, definitely I think would help us out a lot if we was to bring a guy like Trey Henderson in. But giving up that draft capital would not be, just something that the Atlanta Falcons should just willy-nilly do, right? Because we only have those 5 picks. And anybody knows when you're trying to build a football roster, especially when you got special players on your team that you're gonna have to pay in the future, you have to build through the draft, right? And that's how you start to create your depth through the draft. So these draft picks are precious to the Atlanta Falcons, especially this year, especially not having a lot. It looks like the Atlanta Falcons not going to get in compensatory picks. They already came out with those 5 picks for us. So Atlanta Falcons got 5 picks. So when we going into the draft, talking about the draft, I think the Atlanta Falcons should really consider maybe moving back in the draft, trying to get more draft capital, right? It's been noted that this draft from 20 to 60 is not that big of a drop off between the talent. And if the Atlanta Falcons have the ability to move back, maybe like I say in the 20s, to pick up another day 2 pick, maybe a third round pick, maybe another second round pick, they should take the opportunity to do that. Then, if they want to do something like that, maybe get another second day pick, then going to get Trey Henderson, you maybe want to look at it like that. Um, so that's something that the Atlanta Falcons probably need to consider. Maybe they are already considering that moving back in the draft, but we just got to be able to get some more draft capital. You got to be able to build through the draft, especially with the whole Kirk Cousins saga, right? Um, and let's be honest, that's where the Atlanta Falcons are in the position they're in because of the Kirk Cousins saga. You look at what the Commanders is able to do. Because they got a young quarterback, right? They make a lot of moves because they got a quarterback that's on a rookie deal. You look at the Patriots the same way, got a quarterback that's on a rookie deal. You can make moves, right? The Atlanta Falcons have a rookie quarterback, but the the eyesore that we have is that contract for 2025, which is the Kirk Cousins contract, that's really hindering us right now. And they did it to themselves. This is not a surprise. Nobody is not shocked about where the Atlanta Falcons sit in 2025 because they understood, by signing Kirk Cousins to the deal they did last year and then drafting Michael Penix, that this is a situation that's going to be in. Now, they anticipate Michael Penix coming in and, seating Kirk Cousins so fast. He was the future. That's not a shock to anybody. So it's not the fact that Michael Penix is the starter. It's the fact that Kirk Cousins, is out so fast, and I don't think that no anticipation of that when they signed him to that 2-year deal, that 14 games in, that Kirk Cousins will not be here, be the starter anymore. So this is it is what it is. He's still on the roster. I still believe that they should not cut him and release him. I think they should try to. We just talked about draft capital. I think they should try to recoup some draft capital here before they start doing Kirk Cousins. Now, the most important thing to remember is tomorrow by 4, if Kirk Cousins is still on the roster, that $10 million for next season is guaranteed. So that's another $10 million that they owe Kirk Cousins. So a lot of people felt like by then the Atlanta Falcons will go ahead and cut bait and let Kirk Cousins go out and find him another team. But Atlanta Falcons is already on the hook for that money. So basically, what people thinking is that they just need to eat it and let him go get paid, by us and play for somebody else. Atlanta Falcons not willing to do that, right? They paid the man the money, right? You need a backup quarterback. Right now, they do not have a backup quarterback to back up Kirk Cousins. So, to back up Michael Penix. So why not have probably the most expensive backup in the league on your squad? In my opinion, a lot of people believe it's not going to be a good environment in the Atlanta Falcons locker room, but Kirk Cousins is not that type of individual. I think he's a team player. I think he come in and he does all he wants. Now, does Kirk Cousins want to start in this league? And it's starting to get slim pickings for him. If you look around the league and look at all the teams, a lot of teams have solidified their quarterback positions. You still got the New York Giants out there that need a quarterback. You still got the Cleveland Browns. Some people say the Tennessee Titans because they're not sold on Will Levis. The New York Jets, they just brought in Justin Fields to give him an opportunity to compete with Tyrod Taylor. So some of those quarterbacks, slots are starting to close up. The Pittsburgh Steelers still out there as well. A lot of people believe that Aaron Rodgers or maybe Russell Wilson's going to go there. So it's not a lot of places for Kirk Cousins to go. Now, it was a rumor out there that, he could be playing for the Cleveland Browns. They did trade for Kenny Pickett, but I don't think they sold on Kenny Pickett to be their quarterback. So, and then you got to look at the 2 young quarterbacks that's in their draft, and Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, that some of those teams might decide to take an opportunity to bring one of those guys in as well. So you just don't know. Quarterback is the most important position in pro sports, but when teams start to get all these wrapped up, you got a guy on the other side of 30 trying to come in. The decision of the team: do we want to take that veteran guy or do we want to take the young guy? And if you do take the veteran guy, you can still bring in the young guy as well. So that's something that these teams are considering. You look at teams like the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns, the Tennessee Titans, what they want to do. We just saw Daniel Jones sign with the Indianapolis Colts for 1 year deal. He's going to be competing with Anthony Richardson. So, you know, you you have to get the quarterback position right, guys. This everybody knows this. It's not a shock what needs to happen. You know, at that position for teams, the Atlanta Falcons feel like they found their guy. So we need to figure out what we're going to do with Kirk Cousins. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. But guys, this was one of the quick videos that I wanted to do today to come in, talk about what the Falcons was able to do on day 2 of negotiation period. The new league year starts tomorrow. It's starting to get excited. I'm not excited yet because I still think the Falcons at 25% of what they need to get done for this offseason. You like to start, right? You like being able to, bring in some pieces that can help this team move forward, but it's not even close to where they need to be, before we start the season here in this September. So, guys, that's all I have. Let me know what you think about the 3 new guys that was bringing in. One guy is coming back, and Mike Hughes, the new additions to the team, Divine Diablo. I like that name, Divine Diablo. And then bringing back a hometown favorite, Leonard Floyd. Welcome back to Georgia. Let's see, can you represent? And there you have it. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.